Hello. This will be the part two of on being arrested. I recorded. I think it was late January. I recorded the first one of these. And I had a lot of thoughts that I wanted to put into a YouTube video that eventually will be up. Right now, I'm recording this. It's at this very moment, February 13th, 12:50 p.m. It's a Thursday. February 13th, 12:50 p.m. This is like a part two, as I've had time to ruminate, as I've had time to, decompress from the whole thing. I'll be uploading this, what would be, technically, so the first one's going to upload late April, and the second one will release, this one will release a week later. And so, yeah, think of this as like a part two. It's literally what it's going to be called anyway. I was arrested for a thing that I really just didn't do. Anywho, I have a lot of thoughts on the whole debacle, the entirety of the thing, from the moment that the crime happened all the way up till right now. Okay? I'm very mad at this, frankly. I've come to the realization that I am both mad at the scenario, the whole thing that's happening. I'm also mad at me. Okay? I'm also mad at myself. I'll start with the mad at the situation. I'll only dive into this very briefly, and then I'll go into the mad at me part, okay? So, I'm mad at the situation because it is so... I don't think I detailed what the crime was on what happened, but I still won't. But this entire thing has been totally overblown. I'm really mad at it, okay? I'm truly at a loss at how this seems to be the most overblown thing that I could have possibly imagined. Okay? Could have possibly imagined. Could have possibly imagined. The whole thing, this feels so surreal to me. There are people today, right now, right at this extreme very moment, who will go off and murder somebody, okay? In the full extent of what that person can do. Or they'll go kidnap a child or something. In the fullest extent of how that person can do that crime, okay? And that will happen, and that person won't be arrested anywhere near as fast as I was. Not even close. They'll have all of the location tracking. They'll be able to see all this stuff. They'll be able to look at all of the security camera thing and see how the thing happened or whatever. They'll have all of the evidence in the world, but they won't have any idea how to capture that person. Now, maybe that is totally my bias. I totally recognize that maybe I'm just true crime brained, and all of these investigations on like YouTube and all of the stuff from like True TV or whatever. I don't even watch TV anymore, but if it's still called True TV, used to be Court TV way back in the day when I was a youngin'. But I totally recognize that it's maybe like a bias thing, that I watch all these true crime things, or these things happen and the guy's impossible to find or whatever, and they gotta do all this investigation. You know, I get it. But I find it just so fucking funny. I don't find it funny. I'm actually really mad at it, okay? That a thing like this is just totally blowing up. A thing like this, you have no clue what even is happening, because I didn't divulge it in the first video, and I'm not going to divulge it right now. But I just find it so funny. I find it, albeit here, it was an exaggeration what I did too. It was a complete, like the timeline of it's so fucking weird. Everything about this is just extremely weird to me. I've talked to other people, they seem to think that it's a little strange too, but in general, as far as it's involved with me, it seems very weird, okay? It seems extremely strange how all of this is kind of just went about. That's the mad at the situation part. I can't really dive in to like the specifics or details of anything, and I'm not going to. I'll probably make another... Okay, well, hold on. Assuming the court date or whatever it is, assuming I don't get put in prison for 15 years or something. That seems so crazy. For the thing that I did, there's a potential, admittedly quite low. It's not entirely likely this is going to happen, though it's a possibility. Maybe if I get the judge on a really bad day or something, I will have to explain to them, assuming they let me talk to them, or if they ask a question to me or something, I'll have to tell them that I was this, that, those, and the other. Man, crazy. 15 years. My life's already been effectively ruined by this. I'm never gonna get... I already continued the thought. I'll finish it and then I'll move on to the mad at me part, okay? It's already been ruined. I've lost the job of my life. They won't rehire me. I didn't detail what exactly was happening then to them specifically, but I'm not going to, at least for the time being. I lost the job of my life. Today, oh shit, you know what? Today would have literally been the year that I would have had. Today would have been the year I worked at the company I was working at. Would have been my 1 year. It was the job of my life. I feel like I was really, really good at it. Everybody thought I was kind of good at it. It seemed like every time I was talk to somebody, I would get really good feedback, but it would be otherwise kind of on the bottom of the barrel as far as feedback goes. Like, oh, you could do this, that, those, and the other. Anyway, whatever it is. Doesn't even matter. I lost the job of my life. I've lost any sort of semblance of meaning throughout of this. I've just been, ever since I got bail with the help of my lovely family, I've just been, I've applied for jobs. I haven't had a job, mainly because it feels a little bit bombastic to me. I knew I wouldn't be getting a job essentially immediately out of there. And I didn't know if I had truly lost my job until I got back home from jail or whatever it was after I got out on bail. So I came home, I looked, okay, I lost it. So I've been applying ever since, and I've had a couple interviews so far, but it's literally been like 2 or 3. It's not been a whole lot, and I've applied at like 20 different places. I had one phone interview and then one in-person one. But it hasn't really just been... It hasn't been successful. None of them have really gotten back to me or whatever it is, so it doesn't matter. Anyway, so I've lost my job, I've lost my meeting. I lost all semblance of creative endeavors. I was writing an album, and I put out... I was putting out an album for a band that I'm super passionate about. I bought a whole setup for it. I bought a bass for it that I actually had to sell to use to get out on bail. And the bass was specifically supposed to be used for this album. That's where the bass sound was going to come from. I had researched a lot of stuff on where I would be getting my sounds from and everything, and kind of the guitar tones. I bought a whole guitar tone thing, and I already reached out to a producer to mix and master the thing, and all of that just... I was the creative director on a video game and the main producer on a video game, paying for everything, effectively almost 95% of what I was paying for all of it. I had to basically tell all the people that I was working with. It was me, 3 other developer peoples, and then an additional producer, one of my brothers, Trey. Who just... What a guy. I love him to death. I love all of my brothers, really. And I'm gonna... I feel like I want to kick myself in the teeth over this. So let me just dive in from all of that. Lost my job, lost my meaning, lost my creative endeavors, because now I have no money to pay people to do these things, and I am going to kick myself in the teeth over it. So let me explain to you. That's the mad at the situation part. I'm mad at the situation. All of that sucks. And being arrested and charged with this stupid crime that I'm charged with sucks too, but was detailed in the first video. But it all sucks. All of it's fucking bad, okay? Feels like a little bit of a joke, frankly. Now, the mad at myself part. This is the part that I feel like I could make the most headway with. I actually pride myself on thinking that I can divulge relatively complex ideas and debate things and think a little bit high-mindedly about different ideas about things, whether it be political or philosophical or even scientific, or even just in general. If I can't necessarily know about a certain thing, if it's not something that I'm interested in, whether it be music or if it's a science sort of thing or something, then I'll generally be oh wow, that sounds interesting, I would love to look into that, or something like that. I pride myself on being well-spoken, and not being afraid to say I don't know about a thing, okay? That is all to say, on the backdrop of this, I'm mad that I couldn't exercise that, and that I'm still not able to, at least at this very moment. For the whole reason that I was arrested all the way up until now, I'm very upset, I'm very aggravated. And all of this just... very much really fucking sucks. All of this really fucking sucks. All of this really fucking sucks. And I'm mad. Of the two things that I'm really mad at, I'm primarily mad at me. I am really mad at me. I'm really mad at me. To be fair and clear, I think all of this is extremely stupid. I think this whole thing is extremely dumb. I think this entire thing is extremely dumb. None of this should have happened. I think this is a complete overreach of what law and order is meant to be. Okay? And it's funny too. I was taking a shower the other day and I was thinking, this is like made me, and this is gonna be super cringe. I recognize how cringe this is, but I'm venting, I'm being honest. This has made me scared to actually say things anywhere, not even just on the internet, but anywhere else, mind you, like in public. When I was in jail, on the first few days I was there, I feel like, well, not the first few days, it was actually the last, like, or anyway, when I first got to jail, there was like a sort of jail area that I was put in that had like doors and stuff. You had like a room or whatever it was, and I was like, huh, okay, I'm gonna be hanging out in here, I guess. But then they moved me to a more like open bunk thing after like 2 days. I don't know how jails work. I still don't. But when they moved me to the bigger room that has like an open concept sort of thing, there was like an officer or a deputy that was there. He looked roughly about my age. I'm 28 right now, but he looked roughly my age. I think maybe a little bit older. But I would talk to him for the first 3 days. He was the one that was in the room or whatever it was. They had like rotating shifts, so at like night or whatever it is, there would be a different person. But for the first 2 or 3 days, it was him, and I would talk to him about everything that was going on, like what the charges were and everything. He was a good guy. I didn't really have friends there really, but he was good to talk to. Very, very nice. Didn't have any problem with like talking to me or the other people that were in there. Seemed to recognize that there were still like humans that were around rather than just like criminals. No, most of the people that were in the jail or whatever it was, they weren't there for like murder or something. At least as far as I know. I didn't really ask anybody their charges or whatever it was. That was not a conversation that I wanted to have with literally anybody there, but I don't think so anyway. Okay. And maybe they were. I don't know. I don't know how jails or anything work. If they have like violent criminals somewhere else or something. I don't know. He was a good guy. The reason I bring him up is I would tell him that all of this, I would tell him what I'm telling this video, what I'm telling, I guess, you guys, that all of this was completely overblown, seemed to be a huge overreach, and that I'm just not sure why any of this happened. And I'm still not. I've been defeated by this. I really have. I've thought, and this is a little sad, but damn it. I've thought very deeply about this. If there's any lesson to be learned from the whole thing, it's I'm not gonna say that, but because I don't want to imply any of the thing that I'm charged with or whatever it was, because that's just not conducive to good engagement or good talking or good discussion about this whole thing. But I have thought a lot about it, and I've learned a heaping lot. Not even just in like personal, but how the system works and how all this stuff happens in jail and things. So I guess that's something good, I guess. I have been preparing for the worst of this, though. because there's a possibility that I could be, again, it's quite low. It's low. It's low. But because there's a possibility I could be going to prison for 15 years. 15 years. Because there's a possibility of this, I've been getting mentally prepared and like ready, so I've been like reading. I've been listening to all like my favorite music. I've been playing my favorite video games, experiencing my favorite stories. There's a few movies that I've bought on like YouTube and a few on my PlayStation. And I've been going through all of those, experiencing them for what might be the last time. The last 6 June, July, August, September, October, November, December, January, February. The last 8 months have been totally wild and crazy. I'll wrap this up. Again, the date that this was recorded, right at this very moment, is February 13th. It's Thursday. Right now it's 11:12. Or 11:12, not 11:12. Right now it's 1:12 p.m. I've said enough here. I might, before the court date or something, I might do one more of these just so I know what's going on. Or so I know, just so I have a swan song if I get put in prison for 15 years. 15 years. Shit. Anyway, I'll end this here. Thank you for watching if you did. Those probably gonna be one more of these. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one, if there is one.